announcement has been paid for by the nWBro's podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Blade, Big Kev, and California. It's the nWBro's podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the nWBro's podcast here for episode 10, the fourth man. I'm one of your hosts here, California. What a joy to be with you all once again. And speaking of a joy, I'm here with my nWBro's. First of all, Big Kev. What's happening, man?
What's going on? We've made it to 10 episodes. Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's the shit.
I just want to say thanks to all the new subscribers we've got. You know, it's a steady climb. It's going up, but we appreciate people coming along for the ride and having some fun with us.
Yes, please, and more comments. We want to converse with you. We'd like to bicker with you. You know, as long as we keep it respectful. And speaking of respectful, you know, right here we've got we've got the respectful, intelligent, you know, highly motivated, wonderful, one and only Blade. How you going, man?
Yeah, good. I mean, you can't pump me up and make me sound a little cool. Respectful. It's like, yeah, you can take him home and meet your mother, you know, he'll make a good impression. It sucks. Being trapped between two guys who look like rock stars is fucking shit.
No, mate, come on. You come meet my mother. All right, this is what I'll hear afterward. Oh, Carl, why can't you be more like Blade?
That's what you want.
Okay, guys, well, we're here. We made it. We made it. Episode 10 nWBro's. And I'm really excited about this one because we're finishing off August of 1996 in this episode. But before we get to it, I got two questions. And let's not take too long ranting about this first one here. But what did you guys think of the Raw debut on Netflix in comparison to these shows that we've been watching? I'll start with you, Big Kev.
Very underwhelming. Just too squeaky clean. Nothing happened. There was nothing happened to make us watch the next week. There was no like little swerves. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was just if there was a scale, the show just went like that the whole way through, and nothing happened. I don't know. And people raved about it. It was amazing. I think they've forgotten what wrestling used to be. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think wrestling fans these days have been trained to accept programming that is not trying to be better than the previous episode. Blade, your thoughts?
Yeah, I know we talked about in the group chat about I was really frustrated with the presentation of the whole Roman, Rock, Cody of it all. It felt like they were really building something and possibly the most interesting thing that they would have done in 10 years. But instead, it seems like they've shit-canned that for whatever reason. Maybe that Dwayne's back in the good graces of Hollywood after a couple of busts at the box office. So, I don't know. Whatever it is, it really sucked. And I think that coupled with the reaction that Hulk Hogan got kind of, for me, was emblematic of the entire show overall. It was shit, and it needed to get the fuck out of there and stop promoting its shitty beer.
Isn't it weird that Hogan, he's still out there, he's still kicking, he can still get out there and get on the microphone, and this podcast is about something from how many years ago?
Yeah,
I think it's funny as well, like how just say a show went from say network TV to like a Netflix. They wouldn't spend the first episode of the new series sucking off Netflix, would they? It would just be whatever it is the show is, nothing to do with Netflix because it's already on Netflix, and the show would be what it was. But this show was just just every wrestler sucking off Netflix the whole show. I hated it.
Man, how much time? Like, I don't want to keep on this too much, but how much time do they waste showing people in the crowd like, oh, Lyra Valkyria's here, Bianca Belair and Naomi are in the. Who cares? Like, they're on the roster. Like, why are we wasting time with this? Oh,
and half the celebrities, I don't even know who they are.
I don't know who the fuck that guy was that sings the song for Raw. I don't know who he is. What, Travis something?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott.
He
Never heard of him.
Came out to the ring smoking a blunt, which I was like, that's wild. Jey Uso is getting high off the secondhand smoke. What a...
It's probably why everyone enjoyed the show, because they all
It
We're all
shows
high.
just the Rock was swinging his tequila from the bottle.
The
And then he
Terramana.
Yeah, and then he gets in the car and drives home and leaves his kids behind.
Yes, very bland, I would say, guys, in comparison to these Monday Nitros that we're going to be talking about. But again, we're getting to know the nWBro's, everyone out there. And the question for this week for the bros are favorite like super heavyweight wrestler, like a big boy, a 350 plus pound guy. I'm going to start with you, Blade. Who's your choice?
Ooh. I think for me, it comes down to, and not that I've seen a ton of his in-ring work. I've seen a bit, but I think it's more about the story and the legacy. Andre the Giant. There's just so many stories and like well-known facts and fables about the man that, you know, makes him larger than life. I don't think there'll ever be anyone that is like that ever again.
Yeah. Okay, that's a nice choice. What about you, Kev?
I hate to double up here, but I'm going to say Andre as well, because he was one of the first wrestlers I ever saw as a kid. I remember it was like one of those WrestleManias I said before, like with the little small rings, were bringing the people to the rings, and I remember seeing Andre, and yeah, he was my first image of that kind of built man, like he was huge. So yeah, I'd have to say Andre was my first exposure to a larger than life wrestler like him. So yeah, Andre as well.
Okay, that's nice. I'm going with Vader. I was always a fan of Vader.
Yeah, he's sick.
He's just so, yeah. Like I enjoy his work. It comes, well, most of it was a bit real. But okay, let's move forward here, guys, to what we're talking about here today. And this episode is called The Fourth Man, because during these episodes of Nitro, we find out who the fourth guy for the New World Order is in 1996. So we start off with the 49th edition of Monday Nitro on the 19th of August, 1996, from the Von Braun Civic Center in Huntsville, Alabama. We have 5,850 fans in attendance. And just for some fun facts here, guys, we'll start with the ratings. This Nitro, a 3.5 rating against Raw, which got a 2.9. So Raw has crept up, but Nitro has maintained. So it's going to keep that way for some time. But here's some more fun facts. The Von Braun Civic Center, it's named after Werner von Braun, a German-born American rocket engineer and space exploration advocate. Did you guys know that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Did you know that they have a recycling program there at the Von Braun Center? They have a recycling and conservation initiative program that diverts trash from the local landfill.
Well, look at that.
Yeah,
love sustainability. That's great.
Yeah, they've also got a 500 space-covered parking garage and a rooftop restaurant with rooftop views of the city.
Oh.
Very nice.
Like who cares?
No one cares. No one cares. Okay, guys, the episode here. This is what I'm feeling when the show begins. You feel the energy, right? We just talked about Netflix. No energy. Right? The Raw on Netflix, no energy. Michael Cole talking quietly. Fans sitting on their hands. No, this Nitro, you feel the energy from the crowd. Tony Schiavone at the top of his lungs. Welcome to Monday Nitro here in Huntsville, Alabama. And the fireworks are going off. I could just feel that they are stoked that they're at the top of the industry. That they know that they're doing a lot of great stuff on television. And to me, it feels like a very an early peak for the company right now. Like everything's working. Everything's working. The first thing that I got you guys to check out here, the the 9-minute mark of this episode, Hacksaw has had a match, and he talks about Hogan. I'm going to start with you, Kev.
Well, Carl, didn't you get the footage you gave us? It started off with WCW main event, didn't it?
That was kind of a rib.
Was it? Oh, I've wrote like 3 pages of notes. What's going on here?
Okay, so everyone out there, I actually placed the debut of the Leprechaun from WCW main event.
You shitheel. And I was like, I don't know if there's any relevancy, so I kind of also have to watch this just in case the NWO come out for some reason.
Mate, you guys watch the Leprechaun.
So annoyed.
I was trying to skim past it to see if anyone was going to say anything, and I could see you both smirking. Do you have any thoughts of the Leprechaun, guys?
My only thought, my only note I had of worth is it seems to be that Nitro, you're studying this edgier stuff where these other syndicated shows are still very very cheesy, and especially that package they started the show with was super dated, like 80s.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But as far as the Leprechaun is concerned, who the fuck came up with this character? I would really like to know. And they need a one of those. What the fuck is this? I don't understand it at all.
Do you have anything to add, Blade?
I think for me, there's 2 things. One, if I was Todd Morton, I'd be super insulted that Leprechaun got control early on. Like, what? Why? Why did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. He's wrestling a leprechaun. Oh, man. I think the second thing as well is at one point, Schiavone goes on commentary. You know, if the NWO want to jump someone, maybe they should jump the Leprechaun. I thought that was inspired. They should have jumped the Leprechaun.
We're talking about waste management and leprechauns. What's going on this week?
It's the nWBro's podcast.
All right, look, we'll finally get into the actual thing here, guys. I just love that I didn't say anything and you were therefore forced to watch it just in case. Excellent. It's made my day. Okay, so again, we're at the 9-minute mark of this Nitro here in Huntsville. Hacksaw is talking to Gene after the match. And then Savage comes out to kind of take the floor and continue on his, hatred of Hogan and, talking about the Giant as well. Kev.
Yeah, not much to say here. Just Duggan's promo is pretty similar to the one he cut a few weeks ago. It's kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Macho's just fired up. So I don't really have much of note here.
Okay, that's cool. Blade.
The only things I picked up on were the fact that Hacksaw at one point called Hulk Terry.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's fantastic. Love it. Macho Man coming out in the middle of the interview to interrupt was just weird. I was like, just let Hacksaw finish could they have not had 2 separate segments, or could it not have flowed a bit more naturally? And then Macho Man also calls the title the WC World Heavyweight Championship.
You have a keen ear, don't you, Blade? You have a very keen ear.
I was like, I have a tagline: leaving the wrestling out of WCW.
Dude, I don't know. I did not notice that. You've got a very keen ear. Yes, I did pick up the thing about him calling him Terry. I loved it. I thought that was it made it more real. And Savage said that he got 15,000 stitches in his head from the chair shot. Unbelievable. Anyway, we move forward. Tony Larry are talking, and they're talking about Hogan winning the belt. That the Giant is possessed. They build him up, and we get a Tony Schiavoneism. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. It's time for another Tony Schiavoneism. Yeah. One of my favorite things. This is something that Tony loved to say. The most something of something. And Giant is the single most dangerous man in our sport. I like it. Thank you, Tony. Do you guys have anything to follow up here, Blade?
No, pretty short and sweet.
Very good. Kev?
Nothing. Let's go.
Very good.
Let's roll it.
Let's roll. Oh, you didn't watch this part because I actually watched the full Nitro here. But Woman and Liz came out with Benoit in the next match.
Here he is.
Just
Here's
let you
this.
guys know.
Here's this guy putting this Leprechaun match in, and he's and the good stuff. He's taking it out. What's going on here?
Let's get to the 21-minute mark here, boys. The Steiners, we seeing that they nearly won the tag titles, and Nick Patrick is talking himself up. Anything to add here, boys?
Nope.
Right? Nothing on Nick Patrick here.
I think I've already made this point on the previous episode of one of the previous episodes. But for a referee, honestly, probably one of the most articulate people on the roster. He's just very well spoken, and I'm like, he doesn't have a ton of inflection, so obviously as a wrestler, not super beneficial if he wasn't. But there are some wrestlers that could take note from his articulation and the way that he talks, because he's very, very well spoken.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these guys stumble over their words sometimes.
Yeah, he has a very good way of. Everyone's accusing him of being the crooked ref, but he's got a good way of. No, I'm doing my job, and blah. The way he does it is masterful. I think he's really good.
I agree. Lex and Sting with an interview next. They're talking about having a surprise later on. And, well, we're not sure what it is at this point, obviously. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a surprise. Blade, anything here?
Luger stumbles over saying World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, again?
I'm just going to come out and say it. Yeah.
I thought he said championship. That's what I thought. That's what I thought he said.
What is wrong with him?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because obviously we've watched, 10 of these in a row now, but I actually don't like them very much as a team. I kind of find them a bit boring.
Really? Sting and Luger?
Yeah, I think they're just very white meat, and I'm kind of I don't know. It's not hitting for me. Especially the attention they're getting as sort of the main counterpoint to the NWO. I don't know. They haven't done enough at this point, I think, to distinguish. And obviously they're having to build the heat for the NWO. I understand that, but I feel like they're sort of coming out, or cutting promos that are very, very similar and a similar flow. And I don't know. There's nothing spectacular that's happened yet. So I'm curious to see if that shifts.
Okay, interesting. Kev, anything here?
Yeah, just on Blade's point, do you think maybe that the reason why they're sort of not hitting for you is because the NWO has got these sort of really edgy, and then makes them look, I don't know, worse, I guess, because they're so, I don't know, very, very, they're very safe and there's nothing dangerous going on with them. So I kind of think that makes them appear very,
It's not really fair, is it?
A little bit uncool.
What are they supposed to do?
It's the exact dilemma that they had in the 90s, right? Everyone was like, man, the NWO are actually cool. And then they got over as almost seemingly people were like, oh, let's cheer these guys because they're just badass. We love that. Yeah, so I'm experiencing that in 2025.
They're fucked, aren't they? What can they do? Because the NWO get to do all the fun, cool things that are exciting.
Yeah,
being a heel's way better. But I did like that they said that there might be a surprise later. If there might be some stupid fans out there that might be like, oh, maybe they've got a new guy. Maybe there's a new guy joining WCW. Never know. But again, there's something to look forward to later in the show. And one thing I want to say again about these Nitros, the shows are just very well put together. I like the way that they're formatted. We get story, we get a match, we get story, we get a match, then interview, then replay, then, They go back to things. They
Wait.
go back to the commentators, and it's just bing, bang, boom. No fucking around. You know what I mean?
We're not seeing the wrestlers come into the arena with their bags coming into the arena. Then you got to see them again coming out for their entrance. You know, we don't see all that. It's just quick, boom.
Yep. Fuck me. So okay, Horsemen with an interview. Flair's going off, and I love during this that no matter what's going on, when hour number 2 begins, the fireworks go off. So they go off in the middle of this interview. Do you guys have anything to talk about here with this Horseman interview?
Just the only thing did you purposely miss Regal and Dean Malenko?
No,
that was for me.
That was actually
I know. I was going to say. I'm sure he was having a wet dream when this match got announced.
It was a tactical masterpiece.
Two of your favorites against each other. Blade, who are you going for? Let's be honest.
Ooh. I gotta go Regal because like he was the one that I saw, like he was more prominent when I started watching wrestling. Like that was sort of like the commissioner era of Regal in like WWF, right. Sort of. So like I really enjoyed that, you know, the whole pissing in the teapot and all that sort of shit. It was good stuff. So yeah, probably Lord Regal.
Cool.
Okay, all right, that's good. Yeah, I saw, as I was skimming through the show, I was like, I'm going to put that in there for Blade. He's going to have to see that.
That's great.
But anyway, this Horseman interview, it's kind of the same as per usual. Is there anything to add to this, boys?
It's this woman tormenting Mean Gene again. But at the end, with the changeover of the commentators. Didn't Gene say, I've got a Roman candle up my pant leg?
What the fuck?
Yeah. I had to Google the Roman candle, and it is a firework. So, but is that relation to a woman touching him? I'm not sure.
That's really good. Blade, did you have anything?
It was just a weird turn of phrase, and I never heard it before, but when Flair's talking about Hogan, he says that he has more playing time than Hogan does shower time. Just a weird saying. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the context of that is. Is it like he gets more court time while Hogan is like on the bench? I don't know.
Is he saying that he's wrestled more matches?
Yeah, maybe.
And the amount of times he's had these matches and it's added up to more time than Hogan's ever had in showers.
Yeah.
Very clever, isn't it?
Mm.
The Nasty Boys with an interview here. Again, reiterating the friendship with Hogan. This is a very big reiterating episode of Nitro here, and they're in an island of their own. I'm seeing Blade shaking his head. What's going on there, Blade?
I'm so fucking sick of this segment. I swear to God. I know I mentioned how I was starting to get irritated with it a couple of weeks ago. I'm done. I do not need to hear for like the 5th time that the Nasty Boys are going to do nasty business. And Hogan's going to do Hogan. Like, fuck, I get it. Oh man, it's really irritating me now.
Every note I look at here, I'm like, man, fuck, this is a lot of repeating ourselves here, but I guess I want to drive some points home. Do you have anything to add here, Kev?
I just the best bit about it, this was Gene's comment. He said, "You know, these guys hit the buffet pretty heavy."
I had that.
That's all I had. But just I thought Sags's dialogue was quite as well. He was fumbling and didn't make much sense.
I gotta also call out Mean Gene as well. I love this. Hearing Gene say the term hanging and banging is quite possibly one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Like, it's so uncharacteristic. I love it.
Oh, Gene. There was one thing that I found interesting watching the full episode of this, but it was just something that one of the commentators said. Chavo was against DDP, right? And Chavo was really struggling to get the advantage on DDP, and Tony was talking about, well, the reason why Chavo's struggling so much is because he's giving up too much weight to DDP. Imagine that being the case today. Imagine that they would say that on commentary. You can't, because all the little dudes are fucking competitive with the big dudes. It's just a different time, isn't it, boys? It really annoys me. And then Gene is giving Nick Patrick a hard time on what happened with his belt, because DDP managed to get Nick Patrick's belt off him and whipped Chavo with it. Let's just keep going, guys. We get to Sting and Luger against Flair and Anderson. But we're not going to get a match. And what I'm loving here the most, guys, is Gene had to come out to get the scoop. He was getting ready to leave, and he was in such a rush to get out of there. Now he's got to get back out there. He's had to leave his jacket off. It's Gene in the suspenders.
Yes.
Excellent. He's hard day's work for Gene. So anyway, we get this big, Sting with a call to arms. He wants to join with the Horsemen at War Games. He wants it to be Arn and Rick, along with Sting and Luger. Kev, anything here?
Just before this bit, there was a Mean Gene interview with Nick Patrick. I thought was quite interesting too, because he once again. I like we said before. Nick Patrick was great on the mic. I think he was bringing up because he got scolded by, was it Randy Anderson?
Yeah,
for not doing his job properly. And I think his analogy was like from Nick Patrick was, would a police officer wait for backup or something? I don't know what he said, but it was kind of clever. I think Mean Gene's again sort of insinuating it's been paid off, so that was kind of interesting. But also in this next couple of episodes as well, like Mean Gene starts getting questioned by getting paid as well, which I don't think it ever goes anywhere.
I don't think so. I think they're trying to get over the fact that like everyone was a suspect at this point.
But back to your original
yes.
with this segment, yeah, I like how they've done this. They've put the two together from Sting and Luger with the Horsemen, and sort of the other two Horsemen are kind of like, well, it's up to you guys, but we would like to be a part. I like how they've done that, sort of set that up, and that ends up creating a match as well, which is cool.
Very good. Played anything here?
Yeah, I thought it was a really great promo, and I specifically wanted to call out Sting and Arn because I thought they did great work on the mic, like during this segment. But everyone else also, like, even Mongo was great on the stick. So like,
yeah,
like I thought it was just very well done all round by everyone involved. So yeah, not what I was expecting, but yeah, it was very, very good.
Yeah, so the things that I wanted to point out here, I really liked Ric Flair's facial expression when Sting had asked to join forces, because Flair did a really good job at having this facial expression where it's like, I never thought I'd ever hear him say that. Very well done from Rick. Mongo kind of stole this for me. Okay, because they've asked Rick and Arn to let them be, because it's the Horsemen's match. War Games is the Horsemen's match, but he's wanting Mongo and Benoit to bow out and make the decision themselves. Mongo in the background thinking about it. Like, he was in so much, like, it was like he was grief-stricken with how big of a decision this was for him to make. The way he was doing it, it made me laugh. It was like the toughest decision of his life. And then when he finally gets to the mic, and the first thing I think he says is, "Let me tell you what, pretty boys." Straight away in their face, lays down the law to them. I thought it was fantastic. Anyway, let's move forward, boys. Great timing for the next NWO announcement in the very next segment. I'm gonna have to get you guys to kind of take the floor for this one because this is my notes are a little bit bare here because I think I was having a hard time understanding what was going on in this promo at the time.
Same.
Blake, can you help us out here?
So I think they were trying to allude to the fact that they were like in Rome because they filmed in an amphitheater, like it, it's supposed to look like a Roman Colosseum. But then at one point, they have they have Nash's camera. They pointed at a sign, and it was it Detroit or like the Denver Post or whatever. And I'm like, oh, they're just in like Detroit or Denver, but they're talking all this crap. Like, there's a ton of ancient Rome references. They're talking about gladiatorial combat. I laughed my ass off when they was talking about what weapons they'd use. He's like, yeah, the dagger and the net, and like
the trident.
Yeah, it was really strange. Nash references Gulliver's Travels and the giant being like the sleeping giant, and they were going to put him to sleep. I like that. Nash wants to know where the booty babe is. He doesn't care. They don't need the booty man, but where's the booty babe?
I like that.
Yeah, Kevin being like, I gotta know though, what's the booty babe doing?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, but I think, and I know there's one from Hogan later on. This is kind of the vibe of these promos at the moment, is that they're just, the tone is completely different. And I like that because it means they're trying different stuff, and not all of it's going to work, but that's okay. Like they're taking a risk to see what sticks.
Excellent, very good. Kev.
Yeah, I like that dynamic of this kind of style they do with these kind of promos, because it's sort of kind of tongue in cheek funny, and then when they do appear on the show, they're quite serious and cause a lot of damage. So they've got this kind of comedic, kind of funny side of them, and then they got this element too, which is really cool. That's why I had my notes as well. Nash is right. Where did the booty babe go? And I noticed Hall's starting to use this phrase, "Don't call us, we'll call you." He's starting to use that quite a lot now, which is cool. And Hogan's starting to use another little phrase later on as well. So we're starting to get these little things that they're using often.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that. It's just these two just being annoying. And I think it's good that, again, they're letting it breathe, and the NWO are not showing up on this episode. We get to the end of the show here. The Giant and Savage, obviously, I put this in here because they're contending to see who's going to be going after Hogan here. It was a bit of a wild ending to the show. Kev, anything here?
Yeah, I love this. This is Smudge was weak in this. He got the chair, and he just smashing everyone, and it's at the right moment he makes his exit. I thought that was really cool. Here comes the Dungeon of Doom out to save the Giant like that. Where the fuck were they with the Hogan match? That kind of detail. that detail bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
Poor Macho's like half his size, and then they're all coming out there to attack him. But Macho was awesome here. Just the way he exited, just how he done it, just boom, he's off. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Blade.
Can I say also an equally wild exit from the Giant as well? The leap he does out of the ring over the top rope, just flat lands, and then and for a guy his size as well, he's bolting at a decent clip. I was like, Jesus Christ. That leap out of the ring, wild.
I was like, it kind of frightened me almost. I
was like, man, he's gonna break and he's gonna shatter his knees or something. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, boys, so that comes to the end of that episode of Nitro. The following episode of WCW Saturday Night did not have anything of note for me to put into this episode, so we're moving forward.
We didn't even have a Nasty Boys promo, no, to go through. Nothing. Okay, let's continue.
I think we've had
Nasty Boys. We're the boys.
Fucking hell, bro. I get it. That
so shit. I find them so irritating.
How many times do I have to say the word nasty in a promo, bro? August 26, 1996. Manatee Civic Center in Palmetto, Florida. Only 1,384 fans in attendance. The rating. Nitro unopposed. No Raw. Nitro on its own, I think Raw got preempted for maybe the Westminster Dog Show. 4.2. So, not bad. By the way, fun fact, the Manatee Civic Center is now called the Bradenton Area Convention Center.
What are the facilities like there?
Well, just so you asked, because you asked, Blade, the convention center's floor is made of concrete with a professional epoxy finish. And epoxy is a common adhesive used in craft kits and for structural purposes.
I know what epoxy is. You don't need to explain it to me.
Hang on. There's some people out there might not know. It can be used to bond wood, metal, glass, concrete, and stone.
Fun fact.
I thought poxy was a word we used in the 90s when something wasn't cool. That's
that's
poxy.
It's fucking poxy cunt, mate.
All right, there we go. It's completely demonetized.
Fuck you. No, this is a show for adults. I click on the thing that says it's not for kids. So, okay. So,
well, if kids want to watch, we do need the subs and the views. So, feel free to join us.
Yeah, just hop around that age filter and yeah.
Bloody hell. Okay, so boys, all right. I made you guys watch this whole Nitro because I thought it's an important Nitro in the history of this angle. And I felt like it was the context of watching the whole episode, I think just made it, I don't know, the way that the show built and what we got at the end. Like, I just think it was important that we did it this way. So first matchup, Juventud Guerrera taking on Billy Kidman. This is Juvi's first televised match in WCW. He apparently had actually worked a WCW Pro taping the day before where he wrestled 5 matches in one day, 3 of them against Rey Mysterio, 1 against Conan, and 1 with Bobby Walker. This is also Kidman's 14th televised WCW match. What do you think, guys? Some nice facts there.
Fuck, I'm just actually remembering. I'm just remembering the Hoovy promo at the end of this match.
Oh, so God. Fucked.
Fuck. Oh man, God's sake.
Okay, should we talk about the match first and then we'll get to that? Blake, what did you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I hadn't seen Kidman in these early stages because I was like, man, it's like, you know, when you see like when Jeff Hardy wrestled on like early WWF, like before he was you know, who he is now. Like just really weird to see him so young and so, like, yeah, just very, very green. But it was awesome. I mean, it's the debut of the Juice. And you know, it's Kidman. Like, these guys are 2 huge major players in the cruiserweight division. As we know historically. Like, yeah, it was great.
Kev.
Yes, it was good to see it. You know, this is I don't know how many matches Billy Kidman's had at this point, but yeah, it's a young Hoovy and young Billy Kidman. We just know you're going to be seeing Ray versus Hoovy very soon. That promo at the end, or from the interview from me and Gene, I just thought, why would you let him talk? I said, we don't even know what the fuck he's saying. And then me and Gene cut him off and just walked right in front of him and blocked it off.
It was like, maybe you should stop now. You're angry. You're angering them or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Well, see, Hoovy was supposed to be a babyface in this, and he was obviously I don't know why they got him, because he can't speak English. He's struggling. He's trying to speak some English, but then he has to go with the Spanish. And
there's just something about someone that's just got this bit showing, struggling to talk. I was crying with laughter watching this.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Even now, I feel like I'm just going to lose it.
it's like
It was so funny.
it's like the dude at the orgy who unzips his gimp mask to call timeout.
God.
Stop.
That's fucked up. Yeah. Very awkward end to the interview. I think Gene could tell that it was going off the rails, so he just kind of walked away from him. Anyway, let's cross over now we get to Larry and Tony talking about war games. Kev, have you got anything for me here?
I can't exactly remember what they said, but in my notes I've said I'm waiting for Blade to come up with some educational stuff after Larry's speech about world orders. That's how I put. That's my notes.
Right.
Yeah,
Blade.
so here we go.
All right, here we go.
King Nebuchadnezzar, historical religious figure, particularly around the Jewish faith. And yeah, he has this conversation about in history that there will be 5 empires, and Larry sort of expands that the 5th empire is the empire to come. And he says, if we don't stop them, the 5th empire will be the new world order. I thought that's fucking great. He's such an articulate guy. Is this going to hit with the average wrestling fan? No, these references are not for like the lay person, but I mean, like I didn't know this. I had to go and research it myself, but I was like, it's very cool. I like that they make these references often. I think it brings like, they're not always punching down to their audience. Sometimes they're trying to punch up as well. I think that's a good balance. Because often I think, the commentators on other wrestling products often treat their fans like they're stupid.
Yeah.
And yeah, they kind of, I don't think WCW does that as much as other products.
Right. Larry Zbyszko is really, he's speaking to you, Blade.
Yeah. Like, or just,
smart people like you.
Or just, I think people who are interested in history, or, they're even reaching a religious, or like, he's not the only one that's made, religious, like biblical references before. Sting did it in a promo that I talked about, like, a couple of weeks ago with the Rock of Gibraltar. Like,
yeah,
these are all like, and say what you will, I'm not a religious person, but I think if they take these metaphors or these analogies and they use them, and it sort of enhances what they're saying about the point that they're trying to make, like that's, yeah, I find it very interesting.
Lovely. Okay, so we find out Mongo and Benoit are going to be facing Luger and Sting later in the show. So I'm like, here we go, more Mongo and Lex. Here we go. Next matchup, boys. Marcus Bagwell teams with Jim Powers. I'm guessing Scotty Riggs was injured, to take on Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, and Big Bubba. Blade, what you got?
Yeah, it was interesting. The first note I had was that Bagwell almost stacked it on a leapfrog, which for me was like extra cringy, because I've been watching the new season of Dark Side of the Ring, and I just like today watched the like last half of the episode about Buff, and saw the part where he injured himself with a bulldog from Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Jesus, like, just my particular timing with this, I was like, oh, that's super grim. Nick Patrick shenanigans again here. Makes the 3 count and then reverses the decision. Taskmaster and Bubba capitalize for the victory. Then there's the after-match promo. I just put, Taskmaster says he saw Gene on a boat with Hogan the week before, which, as Kev was saying earlier, alluding to the fact that Gene is also crooked. And then, he says that the Horsemen and Luger and Sting are kidding themselves if they think they're going to be kind of like the final defenders of WCW.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Kev, what did you think?
I had a little note here that Teddy Long was known as the Godfather here. That was his nickname.
Really?
They said that in commentary. They said in the beginning of this match, said Bagwell was accompanied by the injured Scotty Riggs, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, he didn't come out.
No. We had what Bubba called out Glacier here and the promo afterwards.
Yeah.
There wasn't it was just pretty much Nick Patrick being dodgy again, I guess.
Here's the thing. What's Bubba's problem? Why does he give? Why is Glacier fucking insulting him? It's just been some vignettes. What is it? How did it get to the point where he's like, you know what, Kevin? When I get out there out of the match, I'm gonna call that Glacier out. Be serving some hard time. I don't know what Big Bubba's problem with Glacier is, but he's barking up the wrong tree, that's for sure.
I think the problem was he was more of a Street Fighter 2 fan than a Mortal Kombat. That's the problem.
That's so shit. Blade, did you hear the American Males theme song?
American males. American males.
Fuck me. The only things I wanted to add here was Jim Powers was so fit but never really got a chance. He's actually really good worker in the ring. Kevin Sullivan's Tree of Woe, where he runs from one corner and gives him a running knee. No. It just doesn't look impactful at all. And I don't have anything else to add there. But anyway, let's move forward. We've talked about the interview afterward, and now it's Gene interviewing Lex and Sting. Lex responds to Mongo whilst rubbing his wrist again. Sting cracks it, but Blade, I'm sure you picked this up. He said gut chest.
Yeah, well, he messed up twice because he also said they were going to listen to the opinions of Steve and Rick, which it would have been Arn and Rick because Mongo didn't have it. Like, Mongo didn't make the decision. So 2 faults from Sting in that promo.
Gut chest. Oh, God. Why are they doing these things live? They should just pre-tape them. Kev, anything here?
Is that from the Luger and Sting promo?
Yeah.
I love Luger's line. We are in the frame of mind to kick some behind.
I bet he thought he was real clever when he came up with that one. Coming up next, Mike Enos.
Not anus. Enos.
Taking on Chavo Guerrero. Kev, I'm throwing it to you. Big Mike Enos fan.
This ending is I haven't seen it in such a long time. I loved when Enos came out to crush us booming, goes, bunch of idiots. Just the way he said it, just such disdain. He hated them. That ending was fun. It was stupid, but kind of I was entertained by the whole them swapping roles. Why did you get Dick Slater in there to pin him? Why couldn't he just done it? I don't get it. I didn't. And he puts a towel over his head to come. It was fucking funny. Yeah, and I guess they did this to try to protect Enos. I guess.
Yeah. That's
the only thing I can think of. I don't know why you do that. Wouldn't Enos just beat the shit out of him because he's like double his size? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make Chavo look like he's like a giant killer or something because he actually did beat DDP the prior week.
Also, my note with Chavo's little interview afterwards with me and Gene, it's like his voice is so high back then. Like he's just so high. It's hilarious.
Blade, do you have anything to follow up?
I don't know. There's just so much to talk about. I feel like we won't have time on this particular episode. No, it was funny. It was like they tried to pull off the twin magic thing that the Bellas used to do, except fucking Enos. They look nothing alike.
Just chuck a towel on your head. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose at a stretch you could say, well, like, the ref took like a bump and was poked in the eye, so maybe through looking through one eye, if you squint really hard, they could look somewhat similar. But I mean,
Okay.
fuck me, like that's a stretch.
Yeah, funny stuff. Yeah, GVP and Chavo at Fall Brawl. Then we got Gene and Bobby promoting a Nitro t-shirt. What did you guys think of having these two promoting a shirt? Why not have the Booty Babe doing it? You know? JL, Mr. JL takes on Rey Mysterio Jr. Blade.
I was very excited about the prospect of this, but then of course halfway through, that's kind of like derailed by the appearance of the NWO. So like the segment itself was very cool, though. I love that Hogan is kind of just dragging the lighting guy along with him.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, come check this out. And then they tag up the Turner broadcasting truck with NWO for life and spray paint NWO everywhere. They tag that motherfucker up, and on commentary, they're like, this should come out of Hogan's insurance. Just ridiculous. But yeah, I thought it was a very cool segment.
Yeah, you know, one thing I noticed, that spray paint was fucking useless. They had to keep going over it and over it and over it. It kept on fading. Like, there must be some sort of special spray paint. Okay, I'm sorry. Another Tony Schiavoneism before I throw it to you, Kev, okay? There are a bunch of cowards. Would you give me a break? This is absolutely sickening. It's vandalism, but is it sickening? Kev, do you have anything to add here?
Them spray painting for life, is that the first time they've used that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought they referenced it in promos before.
Maybe
that.
I wasn't sure, but they like writing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, this is the first time we've seen this. What? Yeah.
I don't know if they've ever said for life. I don't know. That's a good point there, Kev. Anything else here? I mean, there's not really that much to say about it. It was like the iconic NWO moment where they're vandalizing the property now. Going back to the match, Malenko came out to look at Ray while he's wrestling. I don't know why JL and Ray started doing amateur wrestling. Like, one gets on their fours and
gets in the mat position.
And why? What? Whose idea was that? Just so out of place.
We've got two luchadors. We want to see them mat wrestle.
Mike Tenay, I guess, isn't there because Tony Schiavone was doing his best to try and call not only this, but the Hoovy and Kidman match. They got given a lot of time here. We got through hour number 2, and then Ray challenges Malenko after the match. Shall we move forward?
I do want to reference the fact that the fireworks go off again mid-match, which, like you said, with the promo, I was just like, that's wild. Like halfway through a match and just explosions happening.
Doesn't matter what's going on. That's going to go off at the start of hour number 2.
Yeah.
Benoit and Mongo have an interview with Gene. Mongo's talking about how I don't know if Mongo said it or someone said it. Gene probably, that McMichael wants to, or is being asked by the Chicago Bears to go back to the team. Kev, anything?
Just once again, woman's flirting with Gene again. It's right in front of Benoit again.
Like so blatant.
And she again asks Gene about him hanging out with Hogan, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I think Mongo was pretty good in the stick. I think he's quite funny and he brings a lot of energy when he talks. I didn't have a hell of a lot here.
No worries. Blade.
Mongo stumbled a bit at the end of his opening here. And then Benoit also stumbled over the word relinquish. Rough. I'm also confused now because it's like they gave up their spots willingly and now they don't.
Yeah.
Like, why is this match happening? Last week they were like, well, we respect Arn and Rick's decision. If they want us to step us, like, they were left to make the decision, and then they made the decision. And now it's like, oh no, well, actually, we're having a match to test you. I don't know. Just like from a narrative storytelling sense, there's not consistency there.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a bit strange. I mean, everyone's entitled to change their mind, but yeah. Well, moving forward from there, Gene again, another interview with Randy Savage, and I'm like, Gene is fucking busy tonight. He's been all over this thing. Blade, do you have anything to say here?
Gene needs a pay rise. I think the one thing I took out of Macho Man's promo is that he confesses to perhaps only having one marble left in his head. Which I was like, yeah, that seems reasonably accurate.
But he said it's the scariest one, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the scariest marble.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty classic Macho Man type stuff here. He goes off and then does his thing.
Very good. Kev, anything to follow up here?
Same as what Blade said. I just love Savage. He's just his energy.
Yeah.
He could say nothing at all and it's still entertaining. He's my favorite.
Very good. Moving forward here, Hacksaw Jim Duggan takes on the Giant. And Duggan's copping the choke slam here, so but props to Duggan. He fights with gusto in this matchup. Eric on commentary talking about how he doesn't think that there is a fourth or fifth man. But here's a moment. Here's a moment in time. I could tell something was going to happen because they had them on the wide shot for quite some time. And Ted Dibiase comes walking down through the crowd, looking schmick. Duggan hits Giant with a taped fist, and it didn't work. Then he gets chokeslammed to hell. Giant beats Duggan. Then we get a shot of Ted in the crowd, and he's sitting next to a very excited wrestling fan. And then he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Next week, 5. I thought that was pretty cool. Kev, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, it's an iconic moment in the history of the NWO. Whether I agree with Dibiase being the fourth guy, not quite sure. But yeah, I think it's only because I know that I don't remember it going anywhere.
Right.
By memory, but I felt like it should have. There should have been more to it than what it ended up being. But yeah, it's a good. It's another good mind game by the NWO here. Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, once again, it's an iconic moment.
Yeah, Blade, what did you think of seeing Ted DiBiase show up?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, again, not something that I was aware that happened. Like, I knew that he wrestled there, but I wasn't sure when he came. So to see him come through the audience was awesome. And I was laughing at that kid that's sitting next to him and being like, 4, and then he said 5, and he's like yelling to whoever he's sitting next to. It's just like, that's those genuine moments that you got to love about wrestling. Yeah, no, it was very, very cool. I also just loved, so I think it goes to like a post-match promo after that.
Yes, it does. Yeah, well, Gene with the Giant, Gene again with another interview.
Yeah, he's doing work. Giant is sort of running down everyone and says that Macho Man won't be the one to face Hogan for the title, that he will. And then Gene wipes down the camera lens and says, "My goodness, these guys are messy." Gold.
Very good stuff. Did you notice that Giant called himself the World Heavyweight Champion and then realized that he'd done that and then followed up and said that he will become the World Heavyweight Champion? Gene. But yeah, I really enjoyed this segment with Ted coming out. I thought it was we have an idea that yes, he is going to be the next guy in the NWA. He's made it pretty clear. What annoyed me for the rest of the show was they were acting on commentary like clueless as to what he meant, and I'm like, guys, you're not that fucking dumb. Like Eric, and it's pretty obvious that Ted is with these boys in the NWA. That was just one thing. Let's move forward again. Rock and Roll Express taking on Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. This felt a little bit out of place as far as I'm concerned. Kev, what did you think?
I just find it funny that Arn and Flair and the women outside are just cheating the shit out of these older guys, scratching their eyes, just doing anything, just cheating the whole match. I just found that funny. The Rock and Roll Express, these guys are, they're past their prime at this point, and God knows how many years they've wrestled after this as well. But I was just laughing watching this match, just seeing them getting cheated by Flair and Arn, and the girls just interfering and screwing around. That was fun. That was funny.
Yeah, very good stuff. Blade.
I think there was also a really great point raised by Braun and Bischoff on commentary that we hadn't seen the NWO since they tagged the truck. Just kind of those little like breadcrumbs of, like, oh, they've done this massive thing. Where are they? We haven't seen them since then. Are we expecting them to pop up again? Like, surely you'd think so, right? So I don't know. I just kind of like that. I like them laying that foundation for them to appear again.
Yeah, we'll keep it in the minds of the viewer at home. They'll know, okay, yeah, something else might fucking happen. We can't tune out of this. And this episode is unopposed against, there's no Raw. So, they're doing something exciting here. By the way, you can all check out my exclusive interview with Ricky Morton on my old podcast, The Insider's Edge. And the graphic just popped up then. And we talked about...
It was a good interview. I've listened to every single one of those episodes. And I was telling my friend about, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but I was telling a friend of mine about the pod, you doing like the, Insider's Edge. And it really, truly never got its time in the sun.
Context. During cocksucking COVID-19, California started the Insider's Edge podcast. Over the course of the next few years, the bald prick managed to interview 187 different people involved in the professional wrestling business. He was really good at the fucking thing, but then guess what? The market got oversaturated by untalented hackmarks who don't know a wrist hold from a fucking wristwatch, and they completely fucked it up by being utterly shitdicks at their job. Look at these fucking losers. They scared pro wrestlers away from Mark podcasts, and the Insider's Edge was no more. Bit of a shame, isn't it? Oh well, at least California has the nWBro's now. Twats.
Like, you did such a good job with that, and there's so many of these guys that like we're watching like this stuff and they're popping up, and it just gives me so much more of a deeper appreciation for that. Like, I watch them only knowing probably a very little amount about a majority of the people. But yeah, that interview in particular with Ricky, that was really good. He seemed just like a real fun, like nice dude.
He was funny, bro. He was really funny. And to think the Rock and Roll Express are still wrestling.
They're wild.
Christ's sake. Anyway, what are we up to here?
We had a little interview after the match, with Flair and Arn.
Okay, please take it away.
But you had a woman tormenting Gene again, but this time he seemed to be annoyed. He said to Liz, "Can you control her? Like, could you stop her?" She's like, "I can't do anything about it." She was her own woman. Just basically Arn insinuating the MWA time is up and they aren't men, and that Flair heard. I think he said he heard Hogan give up as well.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Excellent. Blade?
I actually laughed quite a bit during this interview because first off, Arn goes, "There's a time to ogle the women, mean Gene." I was trying to do the Ooh, I've lost my voice.
You're right. I can cut this out if you want, Blade.
Yes, please. There's a time to ogle the women, Mean Gene, and this ain't it. Actually, no, leave the me choking in. I think it's funny.
Just repeat it over and over and over again. That'd be even more funnier, I think.
Oh God, and I'm so red in the face now. God damn. Which is funny with the next thing I'm about to say. The latest in WCW homoeroticism. If you want to be a man, you have to jump on a man, eye to eye, nose to nose. What? Well, you have to straddle a man and get real close, look him in the eyes, and touch noses. That's what it means to be a man.
It is. It really is.
You're not a man until you've tried a man.
Blade, do you think that your voice box doesn't like saying the word ogle?
Ogle. No,
Okay.
I think it was because I was trying to put on Arn's accent, and it probably was in a register that I wasn't going to be able to get to.
You started tickling yourself. Okay, so let's move forward here, guys. Chris Jericho makes his debut here with his very inspirational sounding theme song, taking on Alex Wright. I wasn't happy with this. Blade, what would you have to say about it?
Yeah, God, that ending. Oh man. Like of all the ways to end a debut, like it just takes the wind out of the sails completely. And I understand obviously what they're trying to do. With like, like Jericho is such an upstanding, like good guy.
Doesn't it make you hate him immediately? Like, oh, piss off, mate.
Yeah. It sort of gives the vibes of like Kurt Angle's debut in like, in WWF in the same way that it's like you're trying to push like so much of a good thing. Like, I'm such an incredible gentleman that I would never like go for a count out victory against someone that hurts themselves.
Yeah, I can't possibly lose the match this way. It's just not fair. Next week we'll have a rematch, Alex. Oh, fuck off, mate.
No, it's wrestling.
Take the win.
Kick the shit out of him. Yeah, take the win.
Take the win. Don't be a wimp about it.
Yeah.
Like the match itself was fine, but the ending annoyed me. And then Gene again is with Alex and Jericho. And then Jericho starts talking about Hogan, the NWO, and wants to fight for WCW. And I'm like, it's your debut. Shut up, moron. Like, now you're just jumping on board and we don't even know you, dickhead. Get out of here. Kev.
I think it's crazy because I remember this period of Jericho when he first comes in and is just that whole, I'm not going to win like this. I'm going to do things the right way. And for a while, he really flounders. And it's not long after that, maybe a year later, he completely flips into pretty much one of the most obnoxious characters of all time, to the point where he's debuting on WWF television against The Rock in his very first night. So to go from this to that in that short amount of time is pretty crazy. Like you would have never thought it watching this. But this is a shitty ending. And then this whole like double counter. I don't want to win like that. This kind of shit. You see this shit in AEW all the time. It like honorable will shake every match. Everyone's shaking their hands. It's garbage.
I hate it. Let's move forward. Steiners and the Blue Bloods. Mostly excited for the theme song of the Blue Bloods here.
I'm most excited for the promo afterwards. That's what I'm most excited about.
Okay. There's an argument with Earl Robert Eaton and Squire Dave Taylor. We get a Three Stooges spot in here at some point, and I don't know. I can't remember exactly what the Steiners hit the Blue Bloods with to win this, but it looked dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Dave attacks Earl afterward, and they fight to the back. Then, of course, we have the Steiners interview with a very busy Mean Gene. Kev, please take it away.
This Steiner promo, I couldn't work out if Rick made a mistake and was going straight to Halloween Havoc. He said to Halloween Havoc about, what did he say about eating pumpkins or something? He said something really strange, and then Scott corrected him, said, no, it's Four Brawls next pay-per-view. And then Scott started talking. It didn't make any sense either. It was just a mess. But I couldn't work out if Rick done it on purpose because he's a little kind of crazy kind of character anyway, or that he did actually fuck up and then it was Scott. It's bad when Scott's the one is correcting you, eh?
I love Scott Steiner, man.
Oh, so do I.
Blade, anything here?
It was just such like, these are the kind of like garbage monster like machines that we kind of love, like that early promo that we saw with like all the tag teams. They're all like yelling at each other and shit. Like, this is just, it's not well structured. It's very ugly. Like, you know, Rick is like cheering on Dave and what's the other guy's name? I forgot now. The two
Earl
blue
Roberts.
bloods. Yeah.
Yep.
They're just beating each other up, and he's like, "Yeah, I thought they were supposed to be I thought they were supposed to be friends." And he's like, "Yeah, just like hell excited that they're beating each other up." Like, it made no sense.
I think Rick was like, "Yeah, kick his ass."
Yeah.
The poor blue bloods. Okay, well, moving forward here, we get to the main event. We get to this is the big moment here that we've been building this show up for. Benoit and Mongo against Sting and the Total Package. Match is hot out of the gate. You can see Lex was trying really hard with Mongo here. He wanted to make sure it didn't get all fucked up. I thought it was a good match. One thing that I wanted to point out before I throw it to you guys and you know, kind of talk about what's about to happen here. I like when the NWO, when you figure out that they're in the building, you figure out that they're about to hit the ring, because the whole, and I spoke about this before when they came out with the baseball bats months ago. The energy in the building changes, like everything changes. The people are turning and looking around. Like, it's just that I think what I liked about seeing this so much back in the day is that it gave me a feeling, and it put a feeling in the air that you'd never seen before. And it was always this just, fuck, what's about to fucking happen now? Obviously they get out there, they fuck the match up. We get spray paint on people's backs for the first time, I believe. Oh no, the Booty Man had it. But you know, multiple people here. Everyone's getting fucked up by these three guys. I'm going to throw it to you, Blade. You've never seen this before?
No, I just thought, you know, this is the chaotic element of NWO at its best. In that they're just taking everyone out. There's spray paint going on backs. Rubbish is hitting the ring. Hogan spray painting Flair's face and his hair was wild. The crowd is so hot at the end of this. Like, it's really excellent. And then I just love the visual of them hijacking the broadcasting booth as Eric and Brain are ran off. Like, that picture of the three of them sitting at the desk is like an excellent visual. So yeah, awesome way to cap off that segment.
Very good point there, Blade. Kev, please.
I'm shocked Blade never mentioned anything about Nash's attire, to be honest with you.
Was it tucked in again?
The tucked in shirt was a white shirt.
Yeah,
I thought for sure you said something, but anyway, I like that line that Hogan's starting to use. He said, "Anything else would be too civilized."
Yeah,
that line's very iconic, and that image of the three at the announce desk is really, really. That's one of the ones you see on, like, you know, trailers for DVDs, or it's always that scene from this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another iconic moment from the NWO, I think, here as well. Just this ending of the show.
Definitely. I liked the part where Hogan was backing up from Mongo. Whoa, I ain't got a problem with you, brother. Hey, brother. Just backing up. And again, the iconic moment of Hall out the corner of the camera shot just comes busting in with that spray paint can to Mongo's face, taking him down. This is like the first time that you see them, like, when they do the old NWO beatdowns. Here comes the the outsider's edge. There's the jackknife powerbomb. It felt like in one fell swoop, everything was fucked up for everyone. Like, it didn't take them long to completely fuck everyone up. Bodies everywhere. The thing that I started fucking laughing at the most, though, was when the
Nash?
NWO, when they're flexing.
Nash.
And then, like, drinks are flying and Nash is hitting the drinks out of the air. Pointing to his muscles. Like, what an asshole.
You can see they're really enjoying themselves as well doing this. Like, it must be a massive power trip to have that much control over the crowd. Where they just, they're just so disgusted by it. It must be a great feeling.
It must, honestly. Hogan, I was looking at Hogan's face when he got out the ring, and he was smiling so wide. He was so, obviously he's in character, but I felt like he's like ecstatic about how fucking well this is going, and it must be so much fun for him to finally be a heel on this level anyway. One thing I wasn't sure about, though, was him spray painting the back of Nash's shirt. That would annoy me if I was Nash, but then again, maybe this spray paint is
that's what he gets for tucking it in, bitch.
the magic spray paint that kind of disappears. But anyway, yeah, I love the them going on commentary. I love the way that they go off the air. Huge moment here. It's like the awkward ending to the show. Everyone's starting to collect themselves in the ring. Oh man, these scamps, the NWO. One final little bit here before we end. Talking about the end of August of '96 here, nWBro's. We do go to WCW Saturday Night on August 31st in Dalton, Georgia. Believe it or not, this was actually taped on the 20th of August, 11 days prior. Which I thought, wow, geez, that's a little bit, it's a little bit too long of time, like, to be doing that. But I guess that's the schedule. So we start off with Dusty and Tony, and I wanted to say this because Blade's, you're big on the fashion. We always bring up fashion with you, but there was this ensemble that Dusty was wearing, the red jacket and the cowboy hat. I think you'd look good in that.
Oh, thanks, man.
What do you think about Dusty's outfit here? I mean, he looks good.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been like a bit of a wild one, I think, when it comes to fashion. Like, he's just always pushing the envelope, especially for a man of his size. I'm like, that's something I love about that. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah, no, I mean, if I could find that ensemble, I'd fucking wear it.
That'd be sick. Anyway, so that's the start of the show. Again, a giant interview. Gene with Jimmy Hart. Do you get those clothes off the rack?
Maybe you could wash them once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. And then didn't Jimmy say he gets it dry cleaned or so? I don't know. And then Gene suggested he should get it dry cleaned and burned.
You seem to constantly give him shit in his promos all the time.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Giants on Savage's case here. I don't know if you guys have anything to follow up here. Kev?
Yeah, I think I said I felt like Giant was going a little bit step back here with his promos. Kind of went back to that sort of scary Giant, big Yeah, fee fi fo fum bullshit again. I think in this one, I think after his loss of the world title, I kind of felt he's been a little bit taken back on the show again. I thought that he had a good little run there, and I think it's come to a little bit of a halt.
Yeah, it's like he's not as articulate as he was.
No,
he's going back to Savage. I'm gonna kill you. Blade. Anything else?
No, those really great points. I also think that without the title, Giant sort of just taking that step or two back. Where it seems he's, I don't know if it's necessarily lost confidence, but maybe it's that he doesn't have much direction at the moment outside of this sort of Savage thing, where Savage is sort of blaming him for what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it feels like somewhat of a tenuous thing to build a feud on. And I don't think it's the right creative for him at that time. So yeah, I don't know, just a bit directionless perhaps as well.
Right, yeah. I think they're trying to hold things off because the War Games is in the way here. But anyway, Nick Patrick with an interview. And again, I just feel like I'm loving the fact that they've thrown a referee into this story. It's something you don't see at this point in time. Like the referee has never really been that actively involved in such a situation or spot where they constantly need to be getting interviewed on the show. Blade, anything here for Nick Patrick?
No, I mean, very much the same. I think he is good at what he does. And this just continues to sort of build this little storyline / thing that they have going on.
Yeah, and he's firing back on Gene again here, questioning him being
another accusation. Yeah,
yeah. He's trying to get the heat off himself. So we get another announcement, another one. It's Hogan this time talking shit. Kev, I'm throwing to you here for this.
Yeah, this is a little pokey from Hogan again. Sting will be stung. Luger will be hung. Flair won't be there. That old stuff, what you gonna do? He just needs to go. The only thing he's got this little package here is anything else would be civilized. I like the way he says that. I like his face when he does it. I think that's really cool. Just calling the WCW the World Crybaby Wrestling. And yeah, just I did
shit.
And and the laugh. Yeah, I kind of found it a little cheesy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fucking hell. I've got the word cheesy written down here too. Blade, what did you think?
It was also weird, like that thing, that little inflatable that they had on the floor. Was that supposed to be a globe? I assume it's supposed to be a globe of the world.
Globe, yeah.
But like, it's black and white, so it's not exactly the most distinct thing. And it's like this little fucking thing. Like, it's so poncy on the screen as well. Like, it just, yeah, this wasn't it. But again, like, I think it's just Hogan finding his footing.
He'll get there.
Yeah, and like, there are some things that are working for him at the moment. There's things that are not, and this just wasn't one of those things.
Yeah,
I think his insult to Luger, Luger will be hung. Luger would probably be like, "Oh, okay, all right, no worries, I'll be hung, sure."
I'll go with that descriptor.
Yeah, okay, I'm hung.
I am the total package.
Yeah.
So next we get to the main event here. This is something that I was really surprised by. Lex Luger defending the television championship against Lord Steven Regal. And someone's happy about the whole situation. Blade, I'll throw to you. Regal, one of your favorites, and Luger, someone that you've been picking on this whole time on this podcast. What'd you think?
I actually thought it was a good match. Like, I was very surprised that Luger managed to hang in as well as he did with Regal. Like, I think the styles that they both wrestled, like, complemented each other well. I laughed my ass off when Regal eventually lost his temper and just stomped an absolute fucking mud hole in Luger. Like the riots and the boots are just like, oh man, it's great. Um, and then the outsiders show up out of nowhere.
Oh
That was
man, I couldn't believe it.
like, I thought you just added this in for me, so I was like, oh yeah, what? Like,
Oh,
like, okay, cool. Sort of sitting there watching. I'm like, this is the last little bit, and I'm like, oh shit, like, because at this point they haven't shown up on the Saturday night. So like, it's all
yeah.
been pre-filmed promos and all that sort of stuff. So you're like, oh, like, are they gonna show up? Like, this would be, kind of strange if they did, because this is not like their flagship programming. And sure enough, they come in, beat Luger up while Regal distracts Nick Patrick, and then skedaddle just as quickly, costing him the TV title.
Yeah. Regal's got some gold again. Kev.
Yeah, going to Blade's point, I think these two are the epitome of a classic babyface and a heel. That's, I think they work together so well because of that fact. I think I love Regal's facials. He's just got like, he's got great facials. I found Regal flexing his muscles quite funny as well. I think that's one thing that Regal's got over a lot of the other, I guess you'd call them the technical wrestlers on the roster that Dave Meltzer obviously loves, is that Regal's got the skill, but he's also got the character too, whereas some of the other guys, like say, not Dean Malenko, it may not be the most animated guy, whereas Regal's got that both. He's got the character and the skill. But yeah, we got a rare appearance from the outsiders on the show, which is good. I'm sure that would have created a little bit of buzz for the show because the word would have got around. Did you see Saturday Night? No, I didn't see it. An outsiders made an appearance,
Yeah.
But I actually almost forgot that Luger had the title because when it came on, I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. Yeah, I remember he was talking about on his waist. Yeah. So we had a Regal promo at the end here, and he's kind of almost like it was almost like a babyface promo in a way, the way he sort of said he was going to challenge everyone, and
yeah, Regal's going worldwide.
Yeah.
Do
you know, Carl? Do you know why? Why does he end up? Why do they end up getting rid of him or he leaves? Do you never know what happened there?
I think the first time around, there was some substance abuse issues. He left in '98, I believe. Then the issues continued in WWF. Then he went back to WCW, and he wasn't in very good shape. And I believe the issues continued again. And then that's when he finally got his shit together. So we're kind of seeing Regal like his last pretty good portion of his career before things start to take a bit of a dark turn for him.
Okay.
But there we have it. Regal's the television champion. And we come to the end of us talking about August of 1996. And boys, I guess now it's time for me to talk about what Dave Meltzer had to say.
That's right, it's time to find out what did Dave Meltzer say.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'd have to give that 5 stars.
Rumor has it that Mabel is going to be the third guy.
So this is coming from the September... Shit, I can't remember now. I think it's like the September 3rd or something like that. Wrestling Observer. And these are notes that someone's made after reading what Dave had to say. Lots of news coming out of WCW TV this week between Nitro and the Saturday night tapings. Nitro ended with an angle involving Hogan, Nash, and Hall spray painting the letters NWO on several WCW wrestlers. The angle had nuclear heat, and once again the ring was pelted with garbage by the fans. On the same show, Ted DiBiase debuted as the 4th member of the NWO and teased that next week there will be a 5th member revealed. The plan is for it to be Sean Waltman. Okay, remember that. The plan is for it to be Sean Waltman. But if his WWF release situation isn't sorted out by then, they may have to go with a backup plan. The terms of Walter's release are said to not allow him to portray a character with the look or mannerisms of the 1-2-3 Kid, which obviously leaves a lot of room for interpretation. As for Dibiase, he's expected to basically be a manager for the NWO and won't be wrestling. Nitro also set its all-time ratings record this week since Raw was preempted. It was preempted by the US Open. Okay. Kev, what did you think of what Dave had to say here?
Well, he's always got his little get out if he's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
It's always the case. If he gets the release though, they have to go with someone else. So if it is not what he says it is, he's always got but I said the release never came through, so technically I was right.
Blade.
I mean, I guess the other thing is that, like, yes, it's very heavily alluded to that he is going to be the fourth man for the NWO, but, like, it's not 100% confirmed at this point either, right? Like, him flashing the 4 could easily be, like, the 4 Horsemen, which is said on the show. So, like, I don't know. If you're looking at it from, like, a rounded perspective, it's like, even then, like, you're saying that it's confirmed when it's actually not. Like, there's been no, like, introduction of him as the 4th member. Like,
he hasn't been seen with them.
No. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of interpretation from good old fucking Uncle Dave.
The next part, there's 2 more paragraphs to read out for you guys.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
At the tapings for WCW's other shows, Juventud, Guerrera, Super Callow, and Chris Jericho all debuted. Dave noted that Juventud also wrestled on Nitro and did an interview after the match, which was a disaster because he barely speaks English, which led to Guerrero getting booed even though he was the face. This is what I don't think you guys are going to be happy with what he says here next. And it was made even worse by Gene Okerlund just walking away from him while he was talking, leaving Juventud standing there like an idiot. I recognize in some circles, Okerlund has a reputation for being great at handling interviews because he's got the wit. But in reality, he's absolutely horrible in his job, which should be to allow the wrestlers to get over, particularly new ones, and not for him to be the star of the television show. We are big fans of Gene on this show.
We are huge fans. We're huge Gene marks.
Blade, how do you react?
You listen here, you little shit. I am gonna. But honestly, like, okay, Gene didn't handle it the best. Like, it was a bit awkward, and I think Gene probably could have called it a little bit earlier, seeing that it was going south. I can agree with that to an extent. But the fact of the matter is like, fuck, man, it's live TV and he's making decisions on the fly. Like, okay, he flubbed something. Like, he's not fucking horrible at his job. The dude's like one of the best interviewers I've ever fucking seen, if not my favorite, like, of all time. And I've seen him in 10 episodes so far. So, like, you know, it's I hate you so much. I'm so mad. This segment.
Man, he is good at his job. There are times where people are struggling and he manages to, because he's so experienced, figure a way to turn it around. You know, with someone struggling, you can see that Gene jumps in from time to time to keep things flowing. Kev, do you have anything to follow up here?
Gene's the GOAT. Dave, eat a dick.
Yeah, see, I did that full rant, and I think Kev got his point across just so much better than I did.
Yeah.
He's not good at his job. Get the fuck out of here.
So annoying. And the last thing he says here, Glacier debuted at one of the tapings after months of hype. Dave said he was wearing a ring outfit similar to Max Moon in the WWF and does mostly kickboxing moves. So the guy who's writing notes on this has now written in brackets, Dave seems completely oblivious to the fact that Glacy was meant to be a ripoff of Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. So he's someone cool that he doesn't even know what the fuck this thing is. They tried out a gimmick where he wrestled in blue lighting because he allegedly has superpowers. And since his blood runs cold, lights are his weakness. And then Dave says, hey, I'm not coming up with this. I just report it. Then he said, it's still expected Glacy will be part of a group called Blood Runs Cold. Indie wrestler Jerry Flynn got a tryout and used martial arts moves and is expected to be a part of the group. And the guy who wrote the notes on this just wrote in brackets note, because that does not happen. It's like he just gets so much wrong in that paragraph. Kev.
What?
What's
Like,
wrong with him?
I don't. He doesn't. He just reports it. Where would you get this shit from? Like,
someone's fucking with him. Sure.
Okay, just say you got that from a source. Wouldn't you still be like, are they taking the piss out of me? Is this true? They're taking the piss. They've got to be taking the piss out of me here. That's what I'd be thinking. Supernatural powers, and he doesn't like light. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, being a wrestler is probably not going to be for you.
Yeah, because his blood runs cold, so lights are his weakness. So
hey, I'm signed with WCW. If you don't mind, I just can't wrestle with any lights. Okay, if that's part of the deal. Okay, cool. We're all that's cool. We can do that.
Superpowers, Blade. Do you have anything to follow up here?
Oh God.
Even I'm a nerd, and I think that's shit. Even that, I'm just like, God, that's loser shit right there. Holy shit! Like, I think the thing that's the most egregious to me in the whole thing is like, how can he not understand that it's a Mortal Kombat reference? Like, if you are a journalist, surely you have some awareness of like pop culture, things in the mainstream, or like maybe you do your job and do like a little background research into other things to create links to better inform the stories that you tell.
Does he not have any friends that watch wrestling too that they might be like, oh man, do you see that Glacier guy? They're really amping up all the vignettes on him. I mean, I don't really understand the character. He kind of looks like Max Moon from WWF. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, have you not played Mortal Kombat? Oh no, I don't have time for video games because I'm too busy watching, New Japan Pro Wrestling and
it's like Mortal Kombat sold like millions of copies. Yeah. Like, it's not an excuse not to be informed, especially in an area where it's like wrestling is taking like a lot of beats from pop culture. Like, surely you've made links between other characters that have popped up and things in pop culture before.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's all I've got to. That's all I've got to talk about with Dave Meltzer for this episode, guys.
I think that was the dumbest thing he's ever said so far.
If you talk badly about Gene again, we will hunt you down. I swear to God.
Something about Dave Meltzer, like, I don't know. He's so infuriating, but it's almost to the point where it's starting to pop me. That it's like it's a parody of a journalist. It's like it's a parody of itself.
The thing is that basically I view him as like the Perez Hilton of the wrestling world. It's like, you're a fucking scum sucker who, like, for some reason people pay attention to what you think, and you've set yourself up in such a way that like you're seen as like an authority on a thing that you really like shouldn't be, because you aren't actually part of the industry. You're a guy that just benefits from the industry.
He's a super fan. I wouldn't take that away from him. Obviously, he's a massive fan of wrestling, but I remember once, and we'll get off Dave in a second, but I remember once listening to him trying to talk about what a casual wrestling fan was. And like after like a couple of minutes, I was like, you don't know, you have no idea what you're talking about. He actually doesn't understand what it means. And you know what? Next episode, I'm going to find the quotes and I'm going to talk about that because he could not understand what that meant. He doesn't understand that it's a casual television viewer is a casual wrestling fan. Like I'm not going to go there, you know?
You know how you were saying that you wanted to record like a new intro for the What Did Dave Meltzer Say segment? You should use that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we come to the end here of episode 10, which is The Fourth Man. Kev, first and foremost, anything else you'd like to say? And please let everyone know where they can find you.
Subscribers are keep on going up a little bit each week. So make yourself known who you are to us. Just let's get some interaction happening. Tell us what you liked about the show or what you liked about the episode of Nitro we're reviewing. Just stuff like that. That'd be appreciated. But it's a bit of fun for us. And you can catch me on all social media platforms. Kevin Curran Music. That's my music page. And on X, it is Hail Mary Kev, and my band is Hail Mary. You can find us at Hail Mary Band on everything except for Facebook, which is Hail Mary Band page. That's pretty much it.
Lovely jubbly. Blade, anything to say?
No, you haven't been streaming on Twitch, so I can't plug your Habbo Hotel again this time, which is a great shame.
Stupid fucking thing.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for these weekly videos, and it's exciting to be close to like 100 subscribers.
Yeah, we're at 90.
Oh,
yeah.
Rumble. Cool.
Yeah. So like, it's really awesome. Like when we see those little comments, even if sometimes they are just like friends and family, it's still really nice. I love knowing that there's someone, that is a friend of yours that finds my facial reactions in these Dave Meltzer segments funny. It's great because like, it lets us know that like we're not just popping ourselves, like other people are enjoying it. So yeah, just thank you and keep interacting with us. Let's have some discourse. Discourse with our brothers and sisters.
Lovely. Thank you, Blade. And you can find me, I think, just on Twitter at California NWO.
Mark.
Yeah, massive Mark. But I mean, I started a podcast about the NWO, so and it's not my first wrestling podcast either. So it's
with your fucking wrestle buddies in the background, your Seven Dust poster.
Look, I've even got a little one, a little Diamond Dallas Page here.
Holy crap, that's amazing.
Well, you see, when I bought it, the picture of it was like, oh, cool, that's cheap. And then it arrived, and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know they made little ones.
Kind of looks more like Scott. Looks like more like Scott Norton.
You reckon?
His face, yeah.
Yeah, he looks bald as well. Like you can't. Oh, okay, you can see the hair.
Yeah, there's blonde hair. Anyway, guys. Yeah, I am a Mark, but fucking whatever. And thank all of you out there for joining us here for episode 10 of the nWBro's podcast, California. Blade JST, and of course, Big fucking Curve. And we will see you down the road. Thank you.